an external endorser in whatever guise, whatever professional garment the person might be wearing. So that when you now go back to make that conversation or have that discussion in your phone, you are not quoting that third party. Either way, it's not in your interest. It's better you have open, sincere, uninhibited discussion within your family setting, with your spouse, with your children, and commit every one of the blunders. Be free. It's your family. Make the mistakes. I'm lucky enough you will have a family member who might point them out to you. That wouldn't, the observations and feedbacks are coming from your family, immediate family, your nuclear family. You keep it in the family. It wouldn't be like, oh no, I know what they're going to say. No, so let me go. And then you now go. That person, oh, okay, well, oh, well, our person might most likely be taken in his or her own circumstance or situation as for his or her club to grow, to be in his or her same kind of situation. And you didn't know that. And you thought that genuinely, oh, it's just something that third party does for a living. No, the pastor. Yeah, sure. I love pastors. Yeah, sure. Okay, preach. Okay. But then we have had situations where people brainwash. Okay. We have situations where people brainwash others based on their own motives. To now go back and then instead of solutions, you have more problems within the family. At this point, I'm welcoming Professor Oyewale Sarumi. Professor Sarumi, you're welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us at this time. Hello, Professor Sarumi. Right, maybe he's still having some audio issues. Okay, so.
Sorry.
Okay, Professor Sarumi, you're welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
I'm trying to look at my audio. So
settle down. Yeah, I thought so.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Prof. All right. So we are looking at the issue of, family, parents actually now, specifically, relying on third parties for family discussions, family decisions, and in some cases, responsibilities. Okay. And of course, there would always be a need to have some third-party service, okay, for family members. Let's say doctors, for instance, medical doctors, for instance. Somebody is ill, fine. It's also useful to seek counsel and therapy. Yes, for specific issues. Yes, we agree to. But we're saying when you now make it a habit that to have a discussion that you should freely have with your family, with your spouse, and maybe with your children as a family, you feel it's better to first go, well, take instructions from a third party and then come back to have that discussion. That's the bait we're saying you should watch out for. Professor Wale, welcome. That's the backdrop to our show today. How should parents handle having to make third parties the sources, sole sources, or main sources for the content of their discussions, decisions at home?
Basically, thank you for the question. Basically, it will depend on the context. If the parents are already, on the opposite side, it might be necessary to bring in a third party. But then that shouldn't be the norm. Normally, the two of them, they value themselves and appreciate themselves and love themselves. That's why they came together to become parents. And so whatever must have happened in terms, because one of the problem of between parents that really happen based on research is basically communication. Once communication ceases, and communication could be divided into four, depending on the situation. It could be lack of communication, it could be miscommunication, it could be under communication, and it could be over communication. So all of those will depend on the family background and what have you. So definitely, if they spoke to themselves and loved themselves, they should be able to find a common ground, because they are coming from different background. Definitely, there will be a lot of difference. But then they have decided to come together as husband and wife. That's why they are now parents. They should be able to bury their ego and whatever personality differences that may have come up as a result of so-called maturity and being wiser or whatever. They should be able to bury that, and then for the sake of the family and the children, resolve their differences, talk together. It is only when it's becoming very toxic and dangerous for all the parties there, that third parties, all the three parties there, children, father and mother, that a third party should be sought after. But that shouldn't be the first option at all, from my own perspective, unless it is a debilitating challenge like health, um, and then probably emotional turbulence and imbalance. They may need therapy, and then they may need counsel based on what you have said. Sometimes also, they may need marriage coaching also. So quite a lot of things could come up. So
Mention, let's not even talk about skills. It might be there, it might be part of it. To have an open, sincere, uninhibited conversation or discussion with his or her family. That's number one. Is that the reason you feel you don't have family? That's number one. Is that the reason you feel you don't have enough? And it's a third party that should have enough to give you before you now go back to have a discussion. That's number one question I asked. Number two is, or are you going to seek counsel because you already have a position?
Well, basically, if already any of the parents already have a position and they are looking for the third party to rubber stamp, or at least to help with decision making when father and mother cannot come to a joint decision. That might not be the best situation. That is quite that would be a toxic situation where you are justifying yourself, and you are saying that you are right, and you are just looking for somebody to to support you. And if you are the one who chose, definitely that person might also be biased. So I think, like I said, when decision is being taken, and when the two of you cannot come to a decision and you cannot agree on anything, you should seek third party, not based on the fact that you want the third party to justify that you are the one who is right. Because when it comes to your parents,
remain within your family values. Remain, and first of all, do your family members know what those values are? Do they know what the boundaries? Professor Wale, has always talked about set the boundaries. Okay, boundary setting. Yes, in family situation. Yes, Professor. So I want us to now talk about that issue of boundary setting when it comes to having to go to third parties to discuss family issues or take, seek advice in quote to take family decisions. What kind of boundaries or what should couples now, or even the children, because as you rightly put it the other time, there are three parties now. Well, for ease of this discussion, let's say three parties. There are no three parties in any home. There is one family. Okay, so you're not looking at the mother.
It's just for convenience. It's just for convenience that I'm taking each of them one after the other, because once the children, then you have the man and the woman, and then the man and the woman is not agreeing. So they are not three parties. That's why
I get that. I get that. So in terms of boundaries now, when it comes to dealing with third parties, what position should couples take? Professor.
In terms of boundary.
Yes, in terms of setting boundaries, in terms of
depend on what boundary agreed initially. Because sometimes when problem comes, you might flout that boundaries because of anger, annoyance, emotion, disturbances, and what have you. But then if the couples, young couples nowadays are not patient. That's a challenge. Most young couples are not patient, but the older couples, they have seen a lot, and so they are quite a lot of they are quite patient. That's my views when it comes to new couples. They're not patient at all. They want the partner to be perfect. They want the partner to do this. They want the partner to not knowing it is you that you need to change. Because marriage involves tolerance, adaptability, and sometimes you take some shits. I can use that word. Sometimes just for the sake of relationship and what have you.
In families or marriages or homes or not working out can be attributed to any particular generation. We've had challenges from our own parents, their own parents, and all of that. And we have examples of those that we've seen. I just think that, in the last episode, we were like, this whole issue of it's just like the gender thing. They are just socially constructed, classes that are now, people are now using to excuse their behavior, unacceptable, behaviors, which in most cases run counter to family tradition, culture, family value, etiquettes, and all of that. We saw, after all, how well is Gen Z. So because you are born in a particular time period means you must misbehave? No, I don't think that works. That would work, because again, it's a time bomb. That person that says, or those people that say, because I am born within this kind time period, that is my excuse or my certificate for behaving, anti-socially. You are going to have your own children. And All of us pray to have long life. You are going to live to see your children act. Now, what will you do? Okay, the Bible, I'm Christian, yes, and I quote the Bible. That's what I know. I would say we should not remove the what? The ancient landmarks. We should not destroy it. So when we've now gone to go and because that's still part of this whole third party thing now becomes, prevalent. They are all there. They can always be their go-to persons. So if we now destroy traditional thing, Prof, we're still saying, what are the boundaries? What should determine the boundaries for involving others? What should be the things? I mean, you're talking about universal standards now in family areas. Fine. If it's on your relationship, okay, there are so many people out there now who call themselves relationship counselors, relationship therapists. People cannot give what they do not have. Okay? People can't give what they do not have. Make it a habit to make your point within your family environment. Everyone might not always agree with you. I'll use myself as an example. At home, people would, my family would be like, okay, Dad, this, I'll listen. But usually, there's an expectation that I should take action immediately about whatever it is that had been discussed. I noticed that over time, but I still made it a point to say, look, it's not that I didn't hear or I don't agree with what you said. I process it. It's not that what you said don't make sense, but we process it and would, in most cases, action will be taken is, it doesn't have to, and that would now not become, should not now become a reason for which we substitute family discourses with third-party instructions, because that's what they are.
Recording
More often
in
than not,
progress.
they validate your position and you go back. Okay? They validate your position and you go back.
Well, it might not or go well with the other party, the other parent.
Yes.
And that might not really even resolve the problem. In my language, they just said is benekun. That is the thing just you are just piling it up until it will burst. So it is best to come out of your shell and resolve it, rather than look for a validator who is just going to
the root cause of the problem.
disease, the root cause of the disease. So definitely, So if any of the parents take to that, then the interest of the family is not paramount. It's basically personal interest.